Okay, so at the moment in the game, we're able to move between our levels now. We can carry some data with us, but we don't necessarily just want to go from level to level to level within our game. It's a very common thing within platform games like this to have a kind of level select area or a kind of overworld map. So we're going to make a level select level that we'll use to go into whatever other levels we want to use at any particular time. So to do that, we're going to go into our scenes folder. We're going to create a new scene here. So instead of going file new, what we're going to do instead is right click here and create a scene, and we'll call this level select. And like we've done before, we want to add that to our build settings. So back up here, drag it into our build settings so that we know we'll be able to load this level whenever we want to. Obviously, if we want to go to our level select, instead of going to level 2 when we get to the end of once we get to this flag, we want to set that to be level select here. So level select, just like that. And we should actually make this level exit a prefab too, because it'll be something that we want to use obviously over and over again. So let's drag that into there like that. Okay, so let's go into that scene that we just created. So level select, we can save our current scene. Obviously there's nothing in here just yet, so let's drop in our level starter pack. And then what we can do is we want to make sure we delete our main camera, and we can just zoom out here a little bit. So our player is starting off just off to the side there like that, which is not much use. So let's bring our player back to the start like that, and let's get some level pieces in that we can use here. So we're going to drop in just a couple of bits of ground here. Let's zoom in a little bit, and we don't want it to be above the camera bottom line again, same as we've done before. So we'll drag a couple of these across. So we'll duplicate and paste it in there, and we'll duplicate another one and paste it in there like that. Perfect. And now we need to obviously have something to signify in our world what are we going to use to travel around between our worlds. And very simply what we can use is a door kind of image. So we're going to scroll down here to about, I think it's 167. Here we go. So we're going to drag, there's two pieces here. There's the bottom of the door and the top of the door. So we're going to drag both of these in here like this. So we have them there. Then we're going to create an empty object that we'll call our level door. And we're going to drag both of these objects on top of that. There we go. So our level door. We want to make sure the bottom of the door, just going to move it here out of the way for a second. We want to make sure the bottom of the door is at position 0, so that we're right in the middle of whatever. Oh no, we need to move that to be a child of the level door object first, and then move it to be a child, or to be at position 0. So there we go, it's at position 0 like that. Why is our level door at a z value of 0.125? That's no good to us. So we have that door in the right position. Then we can use our V movement to lock this into place right on top of it. And because of the whole overlap thing, we get these little lines. So we'll actually just move it down a tiny little bit. So we're actually just completely removing that kind of gap that we might see between the door. And it's fine to do with this because it's not something that's going to be stood on or anything like that. So we're okay. Okay, so we've got those two pieces, and I'm actually just going to rename this to be door top and door bottom like that. And then on our level door, I'm going to add a box collider 2D and give it a trigger, because what we're going to obviously want is when our player walks into this zone, we want to load up our level. We obviously wouldn't want it to immediately load straight into the level. We want to actually press a button to do it. But for now, we're going to leave it as a trigger box like this. Okay, so to do anything, of course, we're going to need it to be a script. So we're going to go to here and we're going to create a new C# script that we will call, we'll just call it our level door script, because we're going to use this for multiple doors, so we want to keep it nice and simple. So once this is open here, okay, so when the player walks into it, obviously we need to know what level should load up when the player activates it. So we'll go here and we'll say a public string level 2 load. So this will be whatever level we're going to use to load into the game. And then we don't need to do anything in our start loop or in our update loop. What we want to do is check when the player walks into the door trigger box. So here we'll say void on trigger, and instead of being on trigger enter this time, what we're going to use is on trigger stay, because what we're going to do is basically, while our player is staying within the trigger box, if the player presses a certain button, then it will load into that level. So what we want to do is use on trigger stay and then do a check and see if a button is being pressed, and then it will load up whatever level we have selected. So void on trigger stay 2D. We still need to use collider 2D other, like that. So the first thing we want to do is check if it's the player that walked into our box here. It should only be the player, but we want to make sure. So if other.tag equals player, like that. So if our player is standing in the zone, then the next thing we want to do is check if a button has been pressed. So we will say here, if input.get button down. So if the player presses the button, then we will activate whatever's in here. So the button we're just going to use the jump button. So when whenever our player presses jump, it'll load up our new level, is what we want. And as we covered previously, to be able to load up a level, we need to use the scene manager. So we need to go back up here to our using elements here and say using Unity engine dot scene management, and then down here we will say scene manager dot load scene, and the name of the scene we want to load is our level to load here. So level to load, like that, and we'll hit save and we'll go back into the game now. And then on our level door, obviously we want to attach that script to it, so we'll attach our level door script, level door. This being the first door, we'll make this be the door to level 1. So we'll just type in level 1 here like this, and let's actually just move this down to the ground here. And of course, with these two bits of sprites, we want to make sure that they appear behind the player, so we're going to make them on the sorting layer be in the world objects, so they're behind the player and also a little bit behind the ground. And now if we hit play, this should just work perfectly fine for us and be able to load our new level. So there you go. We load into our level and everything works absolutely fine. But now if we were to have two of these doors, so I'm going to duplicate this and just drag it over here to this position, and we want this level to be level 2. Well, how can we tell apart these doors? They both look the exact same and there's not really anything there to tell us which one is which. So what we're going to do is add a new bit of canvas to it to make it have a little bit of writing just above the door to tell us which one is which.